Hello guys, Dave back. So today we're going to do a very quick tutorial on how to use this cannon and what its main functions are. We're going to cover hybriding, making a larger hole in the wall, and upwardsing. So the three main discussions of how to use the cannon. Now we've made this a lot easier on ourselves. We've selected the sand and we're doing stack 20 up. Just a very quick tutorial. This turns your hammer on and off. These 20 TNT here are your hammer. It's what pushes everything down or pushes it up. And right here is your scatter, also represented by a green piece of wool. Now we're going to turn all these delays up real quick so I can show you guys kind of the whole tutorial in one. Now the first thing you want to do when you look at a wall is say, does it have a half slab? Which this one does, so let's go ahead and bust it. You keep this scatter on. This is what breaks the slab. And what happens is when it hits the wall, it's going to get shot down and bust the slab. There we go, so the slab is gone. Now you're ready to stack sand. So very easy to do. Just come in here, place a cobweb on the bottom one, skip the middle one, place a cobweb on the top. So remember, skip the middle, and then you want to turn this off right here because this is what actually is blowing up the wall and blowing up the slab. Now what will happen is it'll stack these 20 sand. So let's watch that. Bam. Now how do you know like when do you actually make a hole in the wall? Press F3 and look at your coordinates here. So you see at my height is 19. Now the perfect place to actually hybrid the wall is one block above your barrel. So if your barrel's at 19, you want to be stacked up to 20 sand before you shoot the hybrid shot. So here we are at 20, and right now we are perfect to send in a hybrid. Now there's different ways of doing this. I'll show you all of them real quick. And the first one is just shooting it with the scatter on. And what people do here is a lot of people will turn the hammer off or leave it on. It really doesn't matter, but you shoot one sand and you have your scatter on. So this will make a hole in the wall. There we go. So it made a hole in the wall. And there's also another way to do it. This is how I do everything, just because I like the way it works. Turn all of these except 3 off. Now obviously that was a larger hole because we were so close to the cannon. At 20 chunks, that doesn't work correctly all the time, and you'll usually be left with a hole that just looks something like, if I just take some of these blocks off real quick. So it'll look something like this, just a little bit smaller, and that's kind of how the hole works with these cannons. It'll just look, you know, a little bit more circular than this, but you guys kind of get the idea. It'll make a lot smaller hole, but because we're so close to the wall, it obviously is going to make a larger hole, no big deal. And the way I actually like to hybrid is to stack up just 20, just one above your barrel like we just did, and bang. So now what will happen is this TNT is firing a lot quicker. So quick in fact that one tick after this TNT blows up, that TNT starts exploding. So it allows us to create a much larger hole, because what will be happening is the hammer blows up inside the sand, which blows the hole, and then it shoots the TNT down into the sand stack, which ends up blowing up a lot larger hole. Now, for the sake of this video, it's going to look the exact same as the other hole, just because we were so close. You'll see it happens instantly. It makes a nice hole. So for the next wall, same thing. We want to bust a half slab for people requesting how to do it. So there we go. The half slab should be gone, but for some reason it's not. I may have misplaced a half slab, or maybe it just did not want to work. I don't know. Let's shoot that again. I'm not really too sure what happened there. Oh, because the half slab is not in line with the wall. That would probably be it. Okay. Pro tutorial right here, guys. Pro, I know. I put so much effort into it. Okay, so now what we want to do is stack our sand back up, just like we did the first time. So you turn that scatter off, which we just did, and then stack your sand up 20, and then shoot. So there we go. If that worked perfectly, it should be at 20, which it is. So let's go ahead and knock a hole in this wall. And remember, I like to turn this on as well, just to make the slightly larger hole. There we go. And this hole will stay the consistent same size all the way through, so you guys don't have to worry about that. Now we've came to a tricky part. We've got through their farm, we've backstacked, or we have a water backboard, or whatever the case may be, and we are ready to upwards this base. And there's no water underneath of it. A lot of sky bases do this. They're just too lazy to water it, so they leave this nice big gap like this. So what we're gonna do is change the cannon just slightly so you guys can learn how to do this. Now the first step is get rid of this redstone here, okay? And you're actually gonna get rid of this piston and move it down 2 blocks. Now you see I already had one here, and that's just because I was doing this earlier. What you're gonna do is come inside the barrel. It's the easiest way to do it, and your piston was just right here. So you're gonna knock that out and go down 2 blocks and place it again. So we're just moving it from right here now to right here. Hopefully that makes sense. You're just moving it down 2 blocks. And these 3 blocks right here is what's called your guider. This is actually what makes the TNT and sand guide at this height in the barrel. So when the sand leaves the barrel, it is coming out at this height, which is 20. But when this hammer here comes out of the barrel, it's actually coming out at 21. It's coming out 1 block higher, which creates this effect. The hammer blows up here, and the sand and TNT are right here, which gets shot down. So that's how that whole effect works in the first place. We want to take that out. We want everything to fly at the top of the barrel. Now, this hammer here, we obviously want this to go under it, so the TNT and sand are going to fly up here, but this hammer is going to fly right here. So when it explodes, instead of shooting it down, it's going to do the reverse effect and shoot it up. Now to do that, we have a problem, because if this piston pushed the TNT into the barrel right now, it would fly to the top. So we need to block it off, which we use trapdoors for. And what will happen now is this TNT will get pushed into the barrel right here, but it can't fly up, so it flies straight. It'll come out at this height, which is 19 at all times. It'll never fly lower. And this TNT here, since it has all this extra space, it'll still fly up and fly over. So that'll give us the effect we want. Now, that's everything done except this little wiring part over here. The only difference you have to make is, remember, your wiring was up here. You put a repeater on max. That's the only change you have to make. Some people like to do all this extra stuff. No, that's it. So now if I press this button, folks, it's going to shoot up. So the hammer's going to hit a little bit lower. The TNT's going to fly above, and then it's going to shoot up. Bam, and bam, just like that. Now, obviously, you could add a couple ticks if you really wanted to watch the delay happen, which we'll do here in a second. But you can see it'll hit the wall and then fly up.